Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tell It to Trevor. Today on my podcast, I have
My name is Mel the Blind Fury Ramos, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Trevor?
nothing much, just trying to stay awake after having an energy drink that failed backwards.
I can't do those anymore. They make my heart race really bad.
That's what Monster did to me, and then I had a certain one, and it never did it for me ever again.
Mm. Have you tried the new energy drink that people are raving over? I forgot what it's called. Celsius, I think it is.
Celsius, yes, I used to work for Pepsi, and every brand new can they made, they're like, try this can and let us know what you did think. So if a customer asks,
I haven't gotten to try it yet, but I see a lot of my contemporaries using, especially the younger folks. So I'm intrigued by it. It's supposed to be.
they have the space themed ones that I love to death because they actually taste really good.
All right.
That's the ones I target for mainly. All right, what sparked your interest in the professional wrestling industry?
Yes. What do you want to know? I've been wrestling for a long
What sparked your interest?
My interest originally, well, my grandparents and my parents. So like my dad was in jail when I was young. My dad went to jail when I was 6, and he was like my hero, and like the things I knew about him, I took to those things, and one of those things was professional wrestling. My dad had a severe love of professional wrestling. It was like our Saturday morning activity. Even when he had to work, when I was at grandma's house, either grandma, from both sides, from mom and dad's side, it'd be like, you gotta be quiet because like wrestling's on. So yeah, it'd be like cartoons and wrestling on Saturdays. So that's originally what got me hooked into it.
Um, who are your favorites growing up?
Growing up, I like Steamboat. I like Steam a lot, and I appreciated him more in my adult years. I like Randy Savage. I like Hulk Hogan. Ultimate Warrior, Bam Bam Bigelow, Kent Patera, Luthez, you know, uh, those guys, I mean, those were my original guys. So Undertaker was very influential in like the early years. Shawn Michaels influential early years. I like the Hart Foundation. I like the Rockers.
Yeah.
Solid tag teams. I like the Demolition. Everybody loved the Legion of Doom. So, originally, I guess the pageantry, the tradition is like kind of like what attracted me to it.
Yeah. Um, how did you get started in the wrestling world?
I was watching wrestling on TV, and 1996 had come around, and I discovered that there was a world outside of the WWF, which was like the independent scene, and I was like, wow, there's like, I called them B leagues at the time, or C leagues rather, and they're like C and B leagues, and I like the smaller leagues where wrestlers get to apply their trade. And I had emailed this company I had seen on BronxNet, which is like Bronx public access over here, when I was like 15, 16 years old. It's called Real Deal Wrestling. They told me they train at this gym. It was lined up with a bunch of mats. No ring there, but they'll teach you like the basics. And I went over there, and there was guys like King Jeter, who's known as Darkside, Vince Steele, who just passed away. Quite a few guys, Devious, those guys were there, and they originally like showed me the ropes, and then they told me about like the LIWF Doghouse, and I made my way over there for like a short deal, and then they closed up, and
Yeah.
I just started inquiring to other schools and just popping up at other places. I popped up at this place called Wrestling for Life, which is on 149th and 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. It was a short-lived place over there. Popped up at Ace. Basically, any school that like opened up in New York, I was there for a little while. So, there was even a time, I'm not going to mention a particular school. It still exists to this day. We were, when I was with my partner, Sucio Rome, because we're known as Los Sucios when we're wrestling as tag team. When we were like kind of like one of the best tag teams out there, and we were like scouting to be in one of the major schools here. Like I said, I'm not gonna mention their name, and we decided to go in another direction. We spent a little bit of time at the Ludus with Joel Maximo and those guys. And was also mentored by quite a few people. EC Negro, Casey Blake from the DRS, the Dirty Ryan Scoundrels, Homicide, as of recent, the Tower of Torture, Lathon Wilkerson, who's one of the original trainers over there. Those are the guys that, have taken their time out to help me, perfect my craft. Guys like Buffett AO, who's overseas in Hong Kong right now, he was part of a tag team known as the House Party. They were also known as All Money is Legal back in the day. And those are the guys that, have really, molded me to who I am today.
What was your first wrestling match like?
It was a battle royal. I
Battle
was
Royal?
Yeah, I was about 17. I lived in Yonkers at the time. They had this place called the JWA, the Junior Wrestling Alliance. I was kind of like bouncing back and forth between Westchester County and the city because my father had gotten out of jail when I was like 17. So I was going back and forth to the city. My grandparents lived in the city. I lived in Westchester County, so I would go there, come to the city, train in Westchester. Found this place, met this kid at the park one day when I was just like practicing by myself my roles. And he told me about this gym. I went, and a few months later, I made my debut. I was also being trained by a man named Dino Rosado. God rest. Well, he hasn't. Has he passed? I don't know if he's passed away. I think he passed away recently. So God rest his soul. And I had a battle royal. It sucked. It sucked. I got beat up, but I was grateful for the experience.
What wrestling school did you start training at?
I wouldn't say I really started at a specific wrestling school. Like I said, I kind of went in between wrestling schools, but the one I really settled that was the BWF in the Bronx. I was there for a few years.
What are your goals for the future in the wrestling industry?
In all honesty, I think it's bigger than wrestling. It's big with all combat sports. I'm into MMA as well, boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts. To be honest, my goal with wrestling was never to be in the WWE, but it was to go overseas to Japan. I'd like to go to All Japan Pro Wrestling or New Japan. In all honesty, those are my goals. I want to walk the King's Road. I want to walk the road. See, my favorite wrestlers come from my absolute favorite wrestlers come from Japan. Kobashi, Misawa, Kawada, Jun Akiyama, Jumbo Suruta, Masato Tanaka, Tajiri. Those guys. Those are the guys I really like. Kojima, Kanemoto. Those guys.
Can you describe your wrestling persona or character for the fans around the world?
Well, so I would kind of say, as a tag team wrestler, we're super heels. We're basically Eddie and Chavo. We're called the Sucios. We cheat to win. We do whatever it takes. So I'm bad guy as a tag team, but as a good guy, as a singles wrestler, I'm more into my martial arts persona, more into the honor. More into the Japanese aspect. More into the strong style aspect. So it's like two different parts of me.
Can you share a memorable moment from your wrestling career so far?
Um, there's been a lot. There's been a lot. Recently, as of recent, I was there when Homicide wrestled his last match at Outlaw Wrestling in Brooklyn, and that was very special to me. He was my mentor, and we shared a very special moment. So that was very special to me. A special moment was also when we won the Ace Tag Team titles from the Silk City Kings in Jersey.
Sure.
So yeah, I would say those are two very important moments in my wrestling career.
Um, can you describe the feeling of winning your first championship?
It was amazing. I also have to mention that I also won the WWX Bronx United States Championship. That was also a very important moment for me. It was just very important, very memorable to be trusted to be the locker room leader. So, or one of the locker room leaders rather.
How do you handle the mental and emotional aspects of wrestling?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
How do you handle the mental and emotional aspects of wrestling?
There's a lot of mental and emotional aspects of wrestling, and I feel like wrestling is actually like 85% mental. So I try to like just focus and tune out. Um, I use music; it helps. I study film even before a match. I'll be studying film. Write things down. I don't really plan too much. I plan a beginning, a middle, and an end, and just how to get there. So
All right. So, have you heard of the segment I do? It's called Trev Shock.
absolutely.
All right. So, recently, as we're recording this, a day of the record got beat by. The record is 38 seconds remaining.
38 seconds for what?
38 seconds remaining.
Okay.
So, I guess the goal is to answer the questions less than 22 seconds to beat the record.
6 questions, correct?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let me get my timer. Timer. Alright, you ready?
Yes, let's go.
Favorite pre-show snack?
Pretzels.
Favorite wrestling song?
Um, American Made. Hulk Hogan's WCW song.
Favorite wrestler growing up?
Shawn Michaels.
Favorite sports team?
Yankees.
Favorite color?
Blue. Royal blue.
Favorite type of music?
Rap and heavy metal.
And you just beat the record by 1 second.
Yes.
The dude even get to hold it for a day.
Yeah, I enjoy rap and heavy metal. Big time.
Okay.
I'm very eclectic. I listen to all types of music, but like rap and heavy metal are like my two. Like those are my two. Those are my two main music genres.
Well, it's more funny. So, usually when people beat the record, I'll have a recording. Like, I had a girl beat the record, and I texted the guy as I was recording on my other phone. I said, "Hey, buddy, I know you just broke the record, but it was just broken." I was like, "I don't know how your 5 minutes of fame lasted, but."
Well, I hope the next person breaks the record.
Now I'm thinking, I'm like, I might need to add some minutes to, like, add a minute and do this to make it
Do it
fair.
45 seconds. Do it 45 seconds. Make it an odd 45.
Well, it used to be 30 seconds.
Oh, you extended it 6 seconds. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if everyone's just going to keep beating my record, I'm going to have to add some, like, minutes or more seconds to this, so then I can add more questions. What are the biggest challenges of being a professional wrestler outside of the ring?
Professionalism in certain situations. Maintaining a good physicality. Maintaining body. Uh, Getting around is difficult sometimes. Uh, I mean, I always find the will. If there's a will, there's a way. So, you just got to keep it in stride. I try to find balance because I do so many things. So it's like, I'm still learning. I just turned 40, so I'm still learning.
Favorite hobbies outside of the wrestling world?
Favorite hobby outside of the wrestling world? I'm a history and a science buff. I love science. It's my favorite subject. It's the subject I've always been best at, especially chemistry, biology. Oh man.
Like for me, I will also say history and science were my favorites. I will say that.
What they say about
And
history: those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
I remember I was at my job and I see my favorite history teacher from middle school, and like I didn't even like tell anybody. I was like, "You guys know what subject's my favorite?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "This whatever he taught in school."
Probably
He
because your
was like,
teacher made it the most interesting. Like I was
"Yes,
always a kid that needed a challenge, and that's
right."
kind of like take that into my adult life. I like challenges, you know. So there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing anybody can't do if they don't put their mind to it.
Um, how do you feel about the business side of wrestling?
There's two sides to everything, There's bad business and there's good business. I mean,
Yeah,
it depends on the people you're doing business with. You know, I try to
yeah,
honor my commitments. I try to be honorable, and that's really all there is to that. There's a lot of shady characters in the wrestling business too, but you just try to steer away from those things. You try to be away from the things that don't match your belief, and things that you believe in, and that's really it.
and then how do you feel about promotions and shaping the storylines?
Promotions and shaping the story. I think storylines are essential. I
Yeah,
mean, you could just put people out there to go beat each other up, but it's like, why? There has to be the why.
yeah,
Like I'll give you an example. I'm working a program with Steve Person, May 10th at Colossal Championship Wrestling at the Elks Lodge in Queens, New York. Now, Steve Person for the last few months has, he's wanted to wrestle me, and he's a really good friend. He's a firefighter in real life, and shout outs to him. But we've been in tag team competition against each other, never one-on-one competition, and like he made it his business to kind of like call me out. So I was just like, okay. So we've been kind of like back and forth, and then you've been like, yo, somebody book it already. Like, just get it done. Just get it done. Just get it done. Just get it done. And now I had a broken hand. I broke my hand in September. I've been out for a few months. I just came back to wrestling. I lost the Ace Tag titles recently. But my first singles match is coming up on the 26th against Dylan Woodward for ECPW Long Island. Then I have another match May 3rd in the Bronx. I'm not going to announce who that is against because that's a little surprise. And then May 10th is this match with, what's his face? Steve Person, sorry. And he's been kind of calling me out and, nagging me to death and talking a lot of crap. He's like, I want to compete against you. He wants to know if he's better. And I'm here to fuel his curiosity.
yeah. I know, like,
If he does, if he thinks he's better, I mean, he's not a bad wrestler. He's, you know, traveled the world, and he wouldn't be the first person I wrestled that's traveled the world. And, it makes it interesting. The storyline, there's a story behind everything. The why.
so the next three questions I'm about to ask you, in my opinion, the ones you got to really think about on.
Yes.
All right. So the first one is if you could wrestle any legendary wrestler from the past, who would it be and why? Living or dead?
I was just gonna ask you, is this dead or alive? Because if this dead or alive, I don't have to think about it. There's no thinking about it. There's specifically three wrestlers. There's Owen Hart,
Okay.
there's Mitsuharu Misawa, and Eddie Guerrero. Those three wrestlers. Owen Hart, Misawa, and Guerrero. Those are the three I want to wrestle. Dead. Alive? Matter of fact, look, let's throw Kurt Hennig in there too. Let's throw Hennig in there too. Because I love Kurt Hennig. Like he's absolute. He really was the perfect wrestler. Now, if we're talking about alive, I would love to wrestle my mentor Homicide. Um, I would like to wrestle Eddie Kingston because I get a lot of comparisons to him a lot, and we're both guys from New York, and we both got fast mouths and fast fists, and we both love the strong style. So Eddie Kingston, if you're listening, what's up? Matt Riddle is someone I'd like to go one-on-one with, and Josh Barnett also. They also have those MMA backgrounds, so it'd be interesting, to mix it up with those guys in there. So that's like my dead or alive list right now.
And then if you could attend a wrestling seminar session with any wrestler, who would it be?
Is it dead or alive too?
Same thing.
Misawa.
Misawa.
Misawa. Misawa. Misawa. Dead Misawa, alive Kobashi.
If you could have a wrestling legend as your mentor, who would you choose?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I've already been blessed to have some tutelage from Homicide, but if there was somebody else, I would say Manny Fernandez, his man, a Raging Bull. I had a brief interaction with him, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And I was like, oh my god, Manny Fernandez,
Yeah.
great man, and he gave a great speech about my mentor Homicide, and shout outs to both of them.
I remember I was at a show down here and I ran into Heath Slater backstage and he was teaming with one of my friends, Miss Emily J.
Okay.
Asuna. Um, and she was like, "You know who I'm teaming up with?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't really look at the posters. I look at the posters just to notice who's going to be there as friends, not really anybody else." He's like, "I'm teaming up with Heath Slater to team up against Mr. James Johnson and Mila Johnson." And I'm like, "So what I'm hearing is you want me to play favorites because that's how I put it in my head. Like they want me to play favorites because two of my best friends going at it against each other.
On
Who do I
opposite
pick?"
sides.
Right. So how I put the two of them, and I was like, whoever wins, that's who I'm rooting for.
What company was this, if you don't mind me asking?
XWW Extreme World Wrestling down
Oh,
in
okay.
North Carolina.
Yeah, I think I heard of them before. I wrestled in North Carolina, and where was it? Not Fayetteville. Was it Fayetteville? It was UIPW, I think it was. Many, many years ago. A few times. We were down there for like a whole 3 days, actually. And then we went back another time, too. So it was pretty cool. We went to Carolina Beach. That was pretty nice. So, yeah.
What is your opinion on the wrestling crossover events with other sports or entertainment industries?
I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm for it.
All the
I'm
way?
for it. I'm for it to a certain degree. I feel like on the one hand, it's insulting to wrestlers who have done this their whole life, but in another way, it kind of like garners more attention, and I see that a lot of people that cross over into from pop culture and other sports into professional wrestling, oftentimes they stay. Arquette did a whole tour as a wrestler, and what's the dude's name from Cobra Kai? The dude that plays Stingray. I saw him on MLW recently, and I was like, "Yo, that was that blew my fucking mind." I was like, "Yo, that was so cool to see him." And he was out there in the singlet. He was out there in the battle royal getting it in. He got geeked on his forehead. He juiced. I was like, wow, like he's really immersed in pro wrestling. And to me, that's the upside. So if who cares about a couple of people who feel a certain way, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As long as, look at Logan Paul. He took to wrestling like a fish to water. A lot of people hate him for it, but I give him a lot of credit. He puts his fucking body on the line. Pardon my language. He puts his body on the line every single time, and he leaves it all in the ring. So I think it's a good thing. I'm a multi-sport person. So I feel like it's always been there, even with the early invasion of the UFC guys in 95, 96, 97, that area, 98. In those years and stuff. And Vince has always had, well, not only Vince, but crossover athletes have always garnered a lot of traction in pro wrestling. track athletes, amateur wrestlers, high school wrestlers, folks that study martial arts, anything, you know. So it creates a whole different dynamic in the ring, and I like that.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an aspiring wrestler?
For an aspiring wrestler, find you a reputable school with a reputable trainer. Train hard and don't abuse your body. You know, you only got one body. Um, Observe everything with your eyes. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be times where you're gonna want to say things. You know, I heard this from somebody that told me this. That Mikey Whipwreck told them, keep your eyes open and your eyes and ears open and your mouth shut. And I've heard that from
Yeah.
several wrestlers. You know, sometimes it's good to, just not speak on certain things. You know what I mean? You know, and just train hard, take care of your body, work out. You know, always have a backup plan. Stay in school, stay educated, stay understand the business side. You know, I wish I knew things then that I know now about the business side of stuff, and it's helped me so much now. You know, later on in my career, that I highly implore all young men and women and folks that are getting into the business to understand the business side, that you're a brand, that you represent your brand wherever you go, and that any little thing could taint your brand. So just be careful in the decisions that you make, the people you associate yourself with, and the people you do business with. And not all business, ladies and gentlemen and folks out there, not all business is good business.
Yeah. Can you talk about a significant feud you had and how it helped you grow as a wrestler?
So I was feuding with this guy named Super Nitro. Actually, we're still feuding. We're in a best of seven series, and it made me 100 times better because every time I wrestle him, we both gain a new set of skills, and we both always do something new. And he's a martial artist as well. He's a karate and a taekwondo stylist, and he just competed at a full contact karate, won a championship actually. So it's like every time I get in the ring with him, we do something new, we do something cool, and you know, we hit each other a little snug. But it's like just because I've known him for so long and he's known me for so long, so we're like, we're both martial artists and we both respect the business, and we both respect the realism of things. So we go in there, we there's strong style and no style. That's my saying, strong style and no style, and everybody knows that. That's my battle cry. It's like when life hits you hard, strong style and no style, tough it out. You know, when the odds are
Yeah.
stacked against you, strong style and no style. When you're losing in the match and you getting the double down, you down on the floor and they about to drape the armor on you. You get the 1-2, strong style and no style, kick out, baby. And it's just
Yeah.
like he helps elevate me.
What was it like working with a particular wrestler that you clicked with in the ring?
My thing is, I used to view the business in a different light. Now I view the business differently. You're only as good as the person you wrestle. So I like to, mess around with those wrestlers that understand that concept. That I'm not gonna go in there and try to make them look terrible. That
Yeah.
it's a two-way street. So those are guys that I like to, it's no guys in particular, but you know, I mean, you know what? I can mention one. I've never wrestled him, but I've trained with him. Skywalker. And when I first started training with Skywalker, that he's another one that took to wrestling like a fish in water, and he's a very good listener,
Hmm.
and I feel like those guys that, that not only want to take but they want to give, you know what I'm saying? Like that also helped, it helped me become way better. And it's like those things, you know,
Yeah.
those things in particular.
Let's see where we at. Can you describe your training process and what was the most challenging part of learning to wrestle?
I mean, I've trained with so many different people and so many different methods, so it's like it took me a while to understand match psychology. I had to study a lot of film. I had to talk to a lot of people. I warm up heavier than a lot of people work out. So it's like I warm up for at least 45 minutes because I'm a little older. I also stretch a lot. I do light weights. I don't really do heavy weights. I do a lot of calisthenics, a lot of cardio. You know, and I also work on my conditioning. I also work on being hit. A lot of people don't do that. You know, so I try to just apply like all the methods that people teach me in different stuff. Like I take some of my martial arts stuff and I use it for wrestling, and it serves me very well.
Let's see where it's the last two questions are. What is your favorite gear that you have ever had made?
Favorite gear I ever had made. Wow. I had this singlet because I was on the heavy Kurt Angle wrestling kick. So I had like a singlet. It looked like a Gatorade singlet, and it got me fairly popular. I also had these patent leather white and blue shorts that had like a white star on the crotch, and they had these like pentagons on the side. They were very, very popular. So like those are like my favorite too. I mean, I always wear something new. I've been switching it up a lot. I have right now I have like an assorted gear for every occasion, I guess. Like I have a Misawa tribute gear that looks like Misawa's gear. I have a Kawada tribute gear. I have shorts that I wear in my tag team campaigns. I have other alternate things that I would wear. So I always keep something, custom and eye appealing.
And then where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on social media, Melmondem, MELMONDEM on Instagram, Melvin L. Ramos, RAMOS on Facebook, MELGIBSUN. Mel Gibson is my music pseudonym. All my music's on all platforms. Like I said, you could just search me on YouTube. I have a fight coming up, MMA fight, first MMA campaign in August against a man named Dave Potter, who's also a former professional wrestler. So I wanted to plug that for Extreme Cage Fighting real quick, and I wanted to plug my school, Lions Roar in the Bronx, best Muay Thai school ever. We do Muay Thai Madness every month or so. So Muay Thai Madness 14 coming up, May 17. So I'll be on the announcer end of that.
All right. And then thank you, Mel, for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it much.
And then
Don't
thank you
forget,
to the sponsors.
I beat the record. How many seconds was it?
By one.
By 1 second. Make sure you run and tell everybody. Mel the Blind Fury has the record. By
I
one
will.
second.
I texted the dude right after you broke in. I was like, man, I know we just talked about like making a whole custom belt for this thing, and you just lost it. You just
we should
lost
make a
your
custom.
title without
We
even
should make a
defending it.
custom title. That'd be pretty awesome. I know a lot of
Well,
brothers.
that's the plan. I have a buddy. He makes custom belts, and he's working on making a custom Tell It to Trevor podcast belt for me.
Can I do a Jerry Springer? Let me leave you with a final thought. Can I leave everybody with a final thought like Jerry Springer?
Go
Love one
ahead.
another. Hey, this is the final thought. Mel the Blind Fury Ramos. Take care. Love one another. Love thy neighbor. I'm out.
And then thank you to the sponsors of TBD Wrestling, Wrestling Evolution, and Apple City Championship Wrestling. And guys, we will see you next time we will see you guys next time.